All right, welcome everybody, and thank you for attending another episode of MSP Webinars. I'm Steve Taylor, host and creator. For those of you that won't be able to stay the whole time, this will be recorded. It will be available on the website and on YouTube later. We're also streaming live on YouTube. If you have any questions, just hop into the Q&A section, which if you hover over our very highly attractive faces, you'll be able to see a question or a Q&A button somewhere up on the top. All right, so next week we have two webinars. We've got one on Tuesday and on Thursday. Please make sure to check out mspwebinars.com so that way you can review the schedule for that. And today we're joined by Corey, who is on your left, everyone, and Derek, who's on your right, from Pronto Marketing. Now, Pronto Marketing, they actually do my website. So for those of you that have reached out to me and said really nice things about my website, I do appreciate it. They are the ones who did it. They did a fantastic job. Would not have it any other way. Now, Pronto, you guys are actually, you have your main office in Bangkok. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. We have about 130 people in our Bangkok office. We have a sales office in the U.S., and then we've been building up an office in the Philippines, and that's about 9 or 10 people right now.
That's awesome. And then for those of you that ever wanted to do like a local Google search, if I just click my share button here, you'll actually see that Pronto has a bunch of pictures that they've put up onto Google Places of their team, of their office. So, I know when I hear, we've got our office in Bangkok, Thailand, I don't know what you guys think of. I think of like, some weird like slumlord offshore kind of thing where everyone's like depressed and unhappy to be working there. Like this place looks way cooler than most of the companies in the United States. So I say kudos.
Bangkok's a vibrant, modern city, a really super active startup community and technical community. The depth of talent here is super strong. So it's definitely a happening place, competitive with, any other location you could be.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to say thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming on here today. I'm just going to pass it over to you if you want to get started with your presentation.
Sure. That would be great. You feel free to jump in anytime, Steve. You know Pronto a little bit.
I will.
Can you get us back to our presentation?
You just got to hit the share button.
Great. Okay, we can do that.
And by the way, Steve, thank you so much for having us and everybody joining us. We're super fortunate to be able to have this opportunity to talk to you all. And so thank you.
So I'll give a little bit of history on Pronto. Before we started Pronto, I was working at Microsoft. I worked at Microsoft about 13 years. And for a period of that time, back in the day, I was responsible for Windows Small Business Server. And that's really where I got out and met a lot of MSPs. I had a advisory group, a partner advisory group with people like Arlen Sorensen and Curtis Hicks and other guys on that. And I got to know people. I did user group tours in the US. I met with a group in Australia, met with a group in India and Europe. And so, really both loved the product and really kind of, got to enjoy working with a lot of MSPs and IT services guys at that time. And when I was working at Microsoft and for 3 years in Microsoft Thailand, and at some point I wanted to start a business, and I kind of two things were bubbling in my mind. And one was this sort of common experience I had where, I'm at a barbecue with friends and somebody says, hey, how do I get my marketing going? What do I do? What about a website? And what I realized was whatever advice I gave them, they were never going to do it because most small business owners are just in the tornado of running their business and of taking care of customers. And it's really hard to, like something like a newsletter sure, you should send a newsletter every month, but how often does it really happen when you're in the trenches with your business? So I started to think about this idea of a full service model. This is, actually almost 11 years ago now. And then I thought, gosh, and I know from working with so many MSPs around the world, how much pain there is on that exact thing. How many, MSPs have told me, oh, Microsoft, you have all these sales collateral, but we don't have time to even, customize it with our name and that sort of thing. So that was how we started it. And then Corey and we started talking, and we joined up and launched Pronto. It's about 10 years ago now. We launched it at SMB Nation in Seattle that year with Harry Brailsford, and took off. And here we are, 10 years later, a lot of experience along the way, and a lot of great learning along the way. We have about 140 employees. We work 24 hours a day. So our support's always up and going and taking care of things. We have about 900 MSP clients today, and about maybe 700 non-MSP clients. A lot of professional services. We do e-commerce. We have some top publishers, kind of news or lifestyle websites and that kind of stuff. And, our clients tend to stay with us, for a number of years. People, go out of business, get acquired, have other sorts of changes periodically. But I think our customer, satisfaction is usually super high. And, it's been a great trip that we've done, and we've enjoyed working together and building our team. So one of the things, the kind of fundamentals that, when we thought about this is, and especially, back 10 years ago, websites, really sucked then. It's kind of like circa 1990s websites. But that kind of, regardless of what someone's doing, to the extent that a company was investing in somehow advertising or email or something to bring people to their website, or organic search was doing it, that we essentially thought of the website as a leaky bucket. And any investment in bringing people to the website was inefficient, just because the websites weren't optimized to convert, weren't optimized to get names, weren't optimized to capture email addresses. And so you were just doing this investment of pouring more and more water into the pail. And I would even get it sometimes. Someone, would say, well, I get all my business from referral. But even then, I feel like, you don't know a good referral that somebody has made for you, that company has gone to your website and looked at it and go, nah, I don't know, I'm going to bounce. Even though my friend said they were good, I'm going to check somebody else out. So we really started with this idea that, you need to have a website as a foundation of your marketing. And it needs to, be buttoned up and work and convert people.
Right.
So one of the things and why we went with a kind of what you might call a managed service model for websites is typically there's a lifestyle. Somebody gets a website and they just stay with it for 3 to 5 years, and then they do a major update on the website. But what happens is kind of two things over time. Your business changes. And it changes incrementally, whether it's as simple as the staff you have on your staff page, or your service offering, or just the image you want to project, or any number of things change over time. In addition, if you're doing marketing activities, that's very dynamic, and you need landing pages, or you need to update and have things ready for specific campaigns. You're focused on a certain part of your business or something. So I think the model of like, build it, forget it for a few years, and then rebuild it was really a broken model. And we wanted to have a service that just over time was kind of always up to date website and always taking care of things for you. And it can be small, or it can be like, hey, it's been a few years, we want to refresh the homepage, but it becomes this seamless experience, and it's not like you're having to stop projects every couple of years. Mm-hmm. And our slogan has always been, your website's never done. The day you launch, even at launch, it's not really done at launch. It's just good enough in a sense, because you go, oh yeah, let's wait a month because we're going to add this new service. Like, don't wait a month, just get it out. When the service comes up, let's just add a page for it and keep working on it. And
I just want to butt in for a second. That is so true that your website's never done, because I keep finding more and more things I want your team to do to my website. I probably send in 2 to 3 tickets a day still, and my website's been launched for 2 months. And it's not that it's like broken or something got messed up. No, it's like, oh, I want to do this now. And they just do it. It's awesome.
Yeah. And it is, it is oftentimes it's like a lot of things, a lot of little incremental things. So yeah, it's great to hear. And that's our job, is to be there 24 hours a day. And some things are really small and we get them done in a day. And some things like you're like, you need a landing page, that's great. What do you want on it? We'll get our writer to write it or designer to design it and get it done. And we're pretty much an all you can eat model to do that. So Corey will go a little bit about, I know you had some questions. How does it work?
So like, so like the basic, and this is a question we get asked a lot, and just like the basic process for getting signed up with the Pronto website, everywhere from signing up to launching, is first it's all about this sign up and onboarding process, where we have these forms that we've worked on through the years of just optimize this process to collect the information that we need for MSP's website. And then we have this process where once you sign up, you're assigned to what we call a production squad. And it's basically the team everyone needed to build your website. So we have a project manager and a designer and an editor and content updater and, all these people. It's about like 8 or 9 people in a squad. And this is your dedicated team while we work with you to get your website live. And we work on everything from building new website pages to lead capturing forms to, the DNS updates, like all this stuff that you need. And again, like your website's never done. So like sometimes this process takes 4 weeks, sometimes it takes 12 weeks, but we're happy to go live when you are. And once you go live, the process doesn't stop, just like you were saying, Steve. But once you're live, we have this whole process of, sucking in your Google Analytics and displaying that in a Pronto dashboard that we'll show in a second. But also this help desk that we have, where you can request updates as small as fixing a typo on a page and as large as I'd like to redo my whole entire website. And, it's kind of just like an all you can eat buffet model that.
Why don't you give us a quick look at the Pronto dashboard?
Yeah, sure. Actually, Steve, do you have any thoughts on that, or would you like to share your experience so far about working with Pronto?
Everything has been really easy. Now, to be fair, I do websites, and every single time I tell people, other MSPs, Pronto's doing my website. They're like, wait, why? You do websites? Well, because spending time on my own website isn't really making me any money. So that's why I have them doing my website for me. So for the most part, when I reach out with some type of service request, trouble ticket, whatever you want to consider it, they have done, and I say they because there's, like 140 of these people that are all working. So I always feel like I'm working with like the same, 4 or 5 people. So I don't know if it's just like my team still, or if I don't know. So they typically respond overnight and resolve my issues. If I want to hop onto the live chat, let them know something I'm thinking about, they no problem, let's create a service request and make it happen. And it's usually done next morning I wake up, everything's just done for me. So it's just been really easy working with Pronto.
That's great. And by the way, I'll kind of add that you mentioned the live chat. We have 24-hour live chat. We also have a schedule if you want to schedule a call and you pick what it's about. It's a technical question you have, a marketing services question, but you can schedule calls and we'll give, our people give you a call at US times. So, you can or ticket, email, chat, call, whatever makes you happy.
And the other nice thing that I really like is I still have access to my WordPress dashboard. So for the little things that I just want to do and just have it done and not wait, the day or whatever it would take to have it be done, I just log in and do it. And it's like, I'm going to, since Ryan asked, it's like almost admin. So I assume you guys are using WordPress multi-user or multi-site. So I don't have like full admin rights on this thing, but it's close.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and like for WordPress, it's like, why go against the grain for this sort of thing? And there's template, or what do you say, like do-it-yourself website companies out there like Wix or Squarespace or something. And we're not competing with those companies. We are a marketing agency. We're an execution agency, and we use WordPress, and we're totally transparent about using WordPress, and we'll give you access to WordPress. Our value is updating the website or maintaining the website, maintaining the plugins, taking care of the hosting and the security and the WordPress upgrades and the content and all that sort of thing. So that's good that you're bringing it up. Like, there's always the option for you to do it yourself. It's WordPress. It's the most popular CMS on the planet. So that's always there.
Yeah. So why don't you give us a quick view of the Pronto dashboard?
Sure. So here's just a quick overview. We want to show the Pronto dashboard. This is what it looks like if you're a Pronto client and you're logged in. So real quick, here's just if you're a reseller, here's the information here to track your reseller stats. Pronto Insights is basically a mashup of Google Analytics and call tracking information and keyword data and
SEO,
competitor tracking. So you can view all this here. It's kind of like an executive summary of what you'd see in Google Analytics, but a few other things. You can see all of your account services. So this is like everything you're subscribed to, or services that you've signed up for that are in progress or something. So you can view all that here, as well as all of your Pronto support tickets. So this integrates with our Zendesk support desk. So you can see really quick at a glance, like what's going on, what's Pronto working on, what's pending with Pronto, or what's new or pending with you as the client. One other thing is just to show here is our services and how this works. So at Pronto, like at the core, we provide this website service, but we actually have a lot of other services that can plug into this website, and we'll share this in a second. But this is what this looks like to see all of our services here and how it looks to see what you're subscribed to, but also what you could subscribe to. And one quick example is like a call tracker service that we have. This is a service where you can, once you sign up for this, we install a tracking code in your website, and this dynamically changes the phone numbers on your website so that you can track where your phone calls are coming from. And you can see if phone calls are coming from search or Google Analytics or an email newsletter campaign. You get an email every time there's a phone call, and also records every phone call if you choose to do that. So this is just like one example of a service we have, which is $30 a month. You sign up for it. Once you click sign up, we just like ask a few questions to do the whole onboarding process. And once you do it, the Pronto team's notified, and then we just drive it from there to get the code on your website to work with you to make sure that you're happy. And you can just see all that in your Pronto dashboard. Does that make sense, Steve? You cover that okay?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Let's see here.
So, thinking about services, if you sort of a hierarchy, it might not necessarily be how you would do it. You'd probably get a website first. But basically, your strategy at a high level is you're going to do some sort of advertising or other marketing activities that are going to drive traffic, and you're going to drive traffic to your website, and you need to convert that traffic, and content is really key to that. So, if you think about keeping these three things in balance, if you create great content on your website that engages people and through the sales funnel or for conversion, but you don't drive traffic, well, that content's not really doing you much good. And on the same thing, if you're doing a lot of advertising and you don't have the content and a website that's set up to optimize and convert, you're just wasting your money on your advertising. So we as we engage on marketing activities with our MSPs, we're really focused on getting these three pieces in balance and have a number of sort of scalable programs that do that. When you think about the marketing funnel, you start at like something like organic search, which is very, very kind of broad across, and you build traffic coming into your website. You have content that engages people and keeps them going. Then you can kick in your advertising. In particular, we're real big on platforms like Facebook or retargeting, where you're specifically targeting people who have been to your websites, or you have emails or other things. So you're not going so broad and spending a lot of money, but you're actually targeting people who have shown interest. Then you need those landing pages built. So when people come, it's really specific. You don't want to be doing Google AdWords and sending people to your homepage. You want to bring them to a specific landing page that's optimized for conversion or for whatever that ad was. The ability to buy now or to transact now or sign up or whatever the next step is. And then CSAT, Corey will talk just a second about a great product we're building there. And then kind of a referral engine, and it's basically back up to the top of the funnel. Do you want to talk about?
Yeah,
CSAT
sure. So Derek was talking about here that what Pronto is trying to do is offer this full funnel solution. We're not trying to just be an advertising agency. We're not trying to just be a website management agency. And what's really valuable about Pronto and what we really believe in is this full funnel solution where we own everything from Google search all the way to satisfied customers. And this CSAT thing that we're talking about here it's a newer Pronto tool that it's called SimpleSat, and it's I don't know, what do you call a child company? I don't know, whatever. It's within it's Pronto's baby, but we're building this within Pronto. It's called SimpleSat, and it's basically a CSAT tool, and we have some plans in the near future to have it be a Net Promoter Score tool, NPS. But basically for MSPs to capture customer satisfaction from their customers.
Right.
And
and integrates with ConnectWise, right. Autotask, and down the line.
Yeah. And how that fits in with this whole thing is that's really at the bottom of the funnel, because once you get to the bottom of the funnel and you close a client and you have a client, the goal is, I guess there's two things with an existing client. One is to keep them be a customer, and two is to have them refer them friends to your company. And you can't do that without, of course, a fanatic customer. So that's a tool we have called SimpleSat, and we could go into that a little bit later, but if not, we don't have enough time, that's fine too. But yeah, makes sense.
Yep, cool. So one of the questions that comes up that Steve, when we were talking about this was, people want to frankly know, so why is Pronto different from other MSP web providers or other alternative services? And the way I'd approach this, first of all, kind of what's the same. And, we do take a template first approach. And I think of this, if I was an MSP and I have standard operating procedures or certain kinds of checklists that we all work off, that's just an efficient way to do business. It's a science about what makes a website work, and you don't need to reinvent that wheel. You don't need to start with a blank, page and start coding. So a lot of things you can start with and just apply best practices right off the bat. And for companies who focus on providing a similar kind of service, we're a managed service model where, it's kind of soup to nuts, from the building the sites, the hosting the sites, the updating the sites, the content, the design, and all of that. Mm-hmm. What's different in Pronto is, one, we have a lot deeper functionality that comes up. If I think about like Steve's site, we have private membership areas, ability to do subscriptions. We do full e-commerce sorts of things. A lot of advanced plugins. People can be hosted on dedicated instances where you need to have like I would say specifically like members that it's not shared in a WordPress multi-site. So there's a lot of stuff we do that I think most companies would shy away from, but we're pretty deep in terms of our team and our support for those kinds of functions, and then integrating all that into the services. So when when you sign up for our MSP ebook program, it comes with landing pages, and it comes with a team that makes sure those pages are integrated on your site. So it's not a finger pointing like, oh, my vendor A didn't communicate with vendor B, who didn't communicate with vendor C. We just take care of it all and integrate it. I don't think there's anybody who does the breadth of marketing activities we do, from content development to SEO to AdWords to Facebook to link building. You just go down the list. We're just completely comprehensive on that. So,
yeah, I don't know. Steve, you have any thoughts on that, or any questions about that?
So I do actually. So you mentioned that it's a template first approach, but I think it's important to clarify that you're not it's not like every website looks the same. Where with some of these MSP website companies, it's like, okay, here's 8 looks and feels, pick one, and that's what your website's going to look like.
Right.
That is not the case working with you guys. You started with a template. Sure, you've got a theme that you use because it makes sense to use the same theme across the board for all of your clients. But you built something that was unique to me, and then you had copywriters write content that was unique to my website. So if I looked at 20 Pronto Marketing MSP websites, I don't think the about page and the home page and the managed services page, I don't think they're all going to say the same thing. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you might think of it rather than template, almost like wireframe first approach. In
Sure.
other words, there's a basic kind of structure that we start with. But yeah, we do take every site is a unique site. It goes into the design team. They do a mock-up. You've gone through this process. So yeah, we don't really have ABC templates, really more like some standard wireframe approaches. And that's just kind of Web 101, basic UI.
It's Web 101, but it's also just like, if in any business you're in, if you're trying to scale anything, you want to start with templates. And I guess like templates sometimes is a negative word, but really I guess we're not cookie cutter, but of course we have templates, and every MSP has templates for whatever standard operating procedure you have, or the way that you set up a network, or the way you set up any sort of managed services thing with a company. It's like it's almost like amateur or reckless to start from scratch every single time. And what we try to do is, we have templates where, we don't have a designer start with a white screen on Photoshop every single time, because that's just not worth it. Of course, there's a nav bar at top, there's a logo, there's your a link to the support center. We have a big section to present your company. We have testimonials. There's an about us. There's all these things. There's a footer. Like, we've done this like literally hundreds and hundreds of times that we don't. It's not. I guess we're not this agency that has to say we're going to do it from scratch every time. It's going to be unique to you. It will be unique to you, but it starts with a wireframe. Yeah.
And that's fine. I don't see anything wrong with that from Web Design 101.
That's a savings that goes to everybody within it. You also don't spend $10,000 on just redesigning something. Right. So cool. Corey, next. Thanks. Well, so that we're kind of open to Q&A. I don't know, Steve, you've got some questions queued up from the.
I do.
So let it go.
So I'll start you off with an easy one, a real easy one. What happens when someone says, I need more than a website. I want you guys to do like blogging and social media, newsletters, that type of stuff. Can you do that?
Yeah, sure. Typically that starts with a call with one of our consultants, first of all, to make sure we understand where you're at and kind of a level of maturity, what the budget might be. We do kind of have sort of a methodology of, if somebody says, well, my budget's kind of limited, I could spend another $1,000 a month, then we, suggest, okay, let's do some link building first and get like your domain authority up. a little bit. For instance, that will make down the road, make your AdWords advertising more effective. So we always start with a consultation, try to understand your budget, kind of your maturity. We analyze your website. We might go, hey, you have a lot of great inbound links. You look pretty good. You're ranking well on SEO. You're ready to go to step 2. So we do that. But in terms of we do a lot of custom blogging for people. Our MSP service has syndicated blogs and newsletters built into it, but some people want custom blogging or other content. We do that. It really just depends. We have some bundles and we have some sort of steps, which again are just good standard procedures to be using, but everything can be broken apart and kind of customized to make sure that it really makes sense.
Excellent. And do you have any success stories or case studies of any of your clients?
Sure, we have a bunch. So if you go to the Pronto website, you'll find them there, or just send us if you have a specific question, somebody could send it in to us. But we have a bunch of them, in terms of effectiveness of link building programs, effectiveness of traffic, of local listing boosting, just a bunch of stuff where we have specific analytics and case studies that show, here's what you got. And, of course, with any marketing, there's a certain element of your mileage can vary. But yeah, we have a lot of experience in this. And we both have case studies that show in aggregate, overall, the people who participate in these programs, this was the average increase. And we have case studies that are specific of, people had a certain challenge and did a certain program and got a certain result. So yeah, we'd be happy to share those.
And do you have any websites that you'd like to show off? Any that are just really above and beyond? And that's not a cue for you to open up mine. Okay. I'm that's a serious question.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, we're not kind of, to offer.
Let me go find some, and let's do the next question and have Derek answer it. And I'll go find a few real quick that we can pull up.
Sounds good. And I just want to throw out there. So a former client of mine, I see them up in your list, and that's really exciting for me.
Cool.
EDI Power Services.
Okay, great.
So let's see. What happens if we don't want to be a Pronto customer anymore? I mean, that happens, right?
Yeah, sure. A couple things. First of all, we have no contract. It's month to month. You can cancel anytime you want. Just tell us before we bill you again, and that's the end of it. Or some people say, hey, we love you, Pronto, but we're coming in house. We're growing. We're getting bigger and want to do it ourselves. And they might plan 90 days out. Do whatever makes you happy. Our only semi-restriction, because we don't have, we have a small setup fee and we invest a lot of money up front in content development, design, and getting things launched, is if you've been with us less than a year, you cannot take the designs and the content onto another website. In other words, we don't want somebody gaming the system and signing up, going live, and then saying, okay, we cancel and we'll just keep everything. But if you've been with us more than a year, you can keep the design, you can keep all the content, you can keep everything we've done, no strings attached. So
now I'm gonna poke at you though, because you said no strings attached. Now I think there is a caveat there that you're not gonna just give us an export backup of WordPress where we can just load that up on our own server.
Yeah,
we still have to build it all over again.
Yes, that's correct. We don't give you the source code and here's your site. So you can take the design of the site, the content of the site, the layout, and somebody quickly, WordPress developer could essentially copy the site. But you're right. We don't give you a zip file of the code.
And I think that's reasonable because, this is a website as a service. It's not a website design. Here you go. See you again in 3 to 5 years. Right. Is there ever the person that says, hey, can I pay you a fee to just get a source code copy of my site? Does that happen?
We don't do that. We don't do custom development like that. Part of it is we've developed a specific theme, we call it Phoenix, for Pronto, that's really highly optimized for our business model. tools for our support people to do updates and one-to-many things, how we manage our plugins, a whole series of things that if you had the theme, it's really probably not the best theme for somebody, especially a do-it-yourself. There's just a lot of back-end stuff that's very optimized for Pronto. So
yeah,
and it would sort of break outside of our infrastructure. So, and we're not going to support it or anything. So really, it's not a good idea to be handing off the theme in our specific case.
So for the people here that know WordPress well-ish, basically what you're saying is, if I recall correctly, you guys are using like a custom in-house created theme, right?
Right.
Okay, so it's not like you're going to get updates to their theme in 6 months when the next 6 versions of WordPress have been released. So the website would break if you exported the full source code out of Pronto. So you would need to, I mean, it's not, it would break tomorrow, but eventually something's going to go wrong because WordPress updates and the theme wouldn't.
And we've just never the scenario of, okay, what if we gave this to somebody and they put it on a new server? That's just like a scenario we've never built for, we've never tested for. We understand we call it designless theme. We have this very kind of lean thing, but it's really up. If you're managing 1,600 websites, there's a lot of how you do the automation on testing for upgrades and things like that.
It's our business model, but it goes against the point of like what we believe about a managed website. So like let's say you take the Pronto website and you own the code. Like it's kind of like driving a car out of a dealership. Like on day one, the value is way down. So great. Now you have this big chunk of code. WordPress comes up with updates every 3 to 6 months. The dozen, I don't know, anything from 5 to 100 plugins that you have on your website, they're all independently updated and need to be managed. It's not like, I don't think you want to have this code. It's not a valuable thing that you want.
So here's some Corey can show some samples back to you.
Anyone can find this on our website at prontomarketing.com, and then website showcase here, and we can filter by MSP. And here's just a cool ones I just found out here that we can view. So it's a good example of just showing the just the difference and the variety of design here, where you can see these different websites. And when we talk about template first, these don't look like they came from the same template, but at the core, they actually did. We have a logo and we have home, about, services, industries. Here we have home, about, industry. We're starting from the same core, kernel of just, wireframe, what does your company do, all this sort of thing.
So it's my others there.
Let's see. Yeah. Here's another one. Cool.
So does that kind of give us a little bit of view, Steve, about, you can see something where the Seattle, we've got it could be as local as someone wants to be. So.
And I believe you've done a couple of websites for Alex.
Yes.
Some of you guys here know Alex Markov. He's with Red Key Solutions and also, it's going to escape me.
Strategy overview.
Thank you. So seeing some websites you've built is good, but I think it would be good to know, all right, so Red Key Solutions. Alex has said in a past breakout a session with us, he's on almost every single service that you guys offer. So, that if we assume he's paying retail, he could be in the $2,000 a month ish range. And it's a possibility. If someone were to go in there and select every one of your services, that's an absolute possibility to be spending that. So what kind of return is somebody getting? like, let's say they sign up, they're spending, they've got more than just the website. Maybe they've got like the MSP basic marketing package.
Right.
You know, how long do they need to be with you? How many months, years, whatever, so that way they can start seeing a return on that investment? You know, how many leads are they getting every month? Or where are they showing up in Google? You know, that type of stuff. I think these guys want to know.
Yeah. So, you know, it's hard to give a specific number, like how many leads you're going to get. That really depends a lot on your market, your competitors, you know, a number of your budgets and that sort of thing. I would say typically in a number of our services, we want people to commit for 90 days. For some things like the link building and the SEO, it does take some time, and you can't expect in 30 days you're going to see a difference. We're definitely hardcore. Like, you know, when you do our services, you've got like your quarterly calls and business reviews, because it just really varies. And, you know, there are some times you might go, wow, this is like a tough market. You know, we just don't seem to be getting the traffic that we get. And other times it's like, excuse me, someone's feeling like, wow, that was really great. I've been with you guys a month and I've gotten a couple really good leads and I've converted one of them. But certainly if you're not getting a good ROI, or if your customer acquisition cost, your cost per lead, whatever KPI you're using, if you're not getting that, we either need to fix it or the program's not working for you. And we just don't, we have an accountability there with you to track that, to measure it, to do what we can do to optimize it. And when it's successful, which it is most of the time, you know, to be happy about that. And when we're struggling with something, to be honest about it, to talk about possible solutions, to know when it's one particular mode of advertising or one particular program isn't working. So, you know, this is marketing, and I'm not going to get on here and just go, hey, everybody, you know, we get you a customer acquisition cost of X and everybody has this result. That's BS, you know, to be honest. You know, you just got to dig into the details. You got to do the work. You've got to do things in a smart, incremental way. You don't need to bust your budget all at once, you know, and just kind of build and get things going right, and measure and get a good feedback loop, and build on that. And then, you know, someone like Alex, he keeps coming back and reinvesting because we're getting it working for him. And, you know, we don't, just a lot of people want to start at a couple $100 a month more, and then they see some results and like, hey, okay, we'll spend some more money with you and let's see the results. And, you know, it takes a certain kind of tenacity and data, and stick with it.
So what kind of results has Alex experienced that he keeps coming back and adding more and more?
I don't know that specific. I'm not his account manager, so I don't know that specifically. But I mean, you see someone, when you look to his page, Eddie, yeah, he's got 10 or 15 with us. You know, I mean, people, yeah, you know, our fundamental business model for Pronto is, on a website, is we have to keep you happy to keep your business. You know, there's no lock-in.
Sure.
There's a certain switching cost, but it's really not that big. And we feel the same with marketing services, is that something we're doing where you're investing additional money, you want to see a return on that. So I don't know specifically what Alex is getting. Again, if you want some case studies, we can provide some case studies. But, you know, even then, like I said, your mileage will vary. You just need a team that's dedicated to work with you, you know, and our account managers do. And we just look at things and we say, hey, maybe we should tune this. Maybe you'd be getting better results spending a little bit more money. You know, AdWords can be like that. Sometimes you can underspend. And other times we might go, hey, we ought to pull this back. You know, I think we can get you kind of a 80-20 rule here and save you some money and still get pretty good results. So it's really a tuning process. So, you know, you get that in SEO. So somebody says, I'm going to put you on first page of Google. Well, either sure, for some obscure search
first
term.
page for what?
First page for what? You know what I mean? But, you know, if somebody says, oh, you're not ranking in Google and you're going to be IT support Los Angeles, like, come on. That's going to take a lot of work and a lot of money.
Yeah, and actually, that's a good, and I remember that with Red Key, that Alex is in New York, and he's like, some of the keywords he wants to rank for are like IT support Manhattan. And this is a common thing that comes up with our clients, where it's like, okay, maybe you can't rank for IT support Manhattan, but maybe you can rank for IT support Soho, or I don't know.
Something like that, or something more specific,
or something like
legal
that.
IT support,
legal IT support, or best IT support, like, and that's like, it's the fine tuning that we'll do, where it's like, we won't promise you that you will rank Google #1 for IT support Manhattan, but we can say, you know what is realistic is to rank, IT support Soho, or IT support, or best IT support, or find some sort of common ground. I don't know.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, but Boise, Idaho is a lot easier in that instance than it is in Manhattan. On the other hand, Boise, you might have trouble with some AdWords thing because just not enough traffic to kind of make it click, and so it's. I don't want to feel like we're dancing around your questions. It's hard work to do it right, and we don't.
Sure.
We've tried to invest to do the hard work. That's why we have consultants. That's why we do calls. That's why we want to make sure someone's a good fit and that they're ready for that next step.
And there's a lot more that needs to be done than just building a website to, start ranking and to keep ranking.
Right.
So I see that Alex has a blog on there. Is that something you guys manage? I assume it is.
Yeah, we manage his blog, and we both have, like I say, it's sort of the syndicated content that goes out to MSPs that can flow into a newsletter. But we also do custom blog posts, which are part of an SEO strategy, but also sometimes people just want, MSP or other customers just want something very focused on their specific vertical, so you have a dedicated writer who gets to know your business, who says, okay, every month you want an article about whatever, you're into the healthcare or veterinarians or something like that. We develop custom content, we can tie that into link building programs and a number of other stuff. So, and we always are kind of, we're always thinking, how do we get all these pieces working together? Like, our goal isn't to go sell some one-off marketing service that you don't have success. That's just, we're trying to get and build success. So if we go, hey, Steve, we don't think you're ready for that. You need to go to A before you go to B. We'll be honest about it. Get people in the right sequence.
And so you said you've got syndicated blogs for MSPs. So how many blog entries are there for that? And is that included in the MSP website, or is that an additional fee?
It's included in the MSP website. When you sign up for that, there's a bunch of different categories, and you can select categories that you want to tune it somewhat for your business. And the main thing that really, the syndicated content isn't indexed in Google for a number of reasons. So it's not an SEO strategy. It's a thing about having your website always up to date. So if there's a blog section on your homepage, every week it's like fresh, and that's great. And included with our MSP services, a newsletter, and that content's great because it fills out the newsletter every month. So it can really be on, pretty much autopilot with our team. Our newsletter team, send you a support ticket every month and say, Steve, here's the draft of your newsletter. You can add, we moved office, we hired somebody new, we want some feature, or you can just go, looks great, send it. So that content really helps with kind of freshness and the email newsletter, just having that, we're not contacting you like saying, oh my gosh, Alex, you need to write something. The custom blogging is a different thing where someone wants specific content to meet their business need. And that really makes a big difference in driving SEO. But that we charge extra for because I say you've got a dedicated writer and you make a commitment to, there's a programs for 3 blog articles a month or 4 blog articles a month.
Excellent. And where are you hosting these websites at?
Amazon.
Okay. So, I know some people would say they prefer Azure, but
it's Amazon, and we've actually moved around a few different hosting companies in the history of Pronto, and we've been with Rackspace before, and weren't we with some Microsoft thing in the beginning?
I forget.
But AWS now is just great for our team, and it's great to support, and it's the most, I don't know, there's a really awesome community and documentation and all that with hosting. So it's like, I don't know, I don't know. What do you think? It's anyway. Ideally it'd be Azure because most MSPs are using Microsoft solutions, but AWS is like undoubtedly the leader right now in website hosting, and I don't know, we're going with that. And
again, we have an infrastructure page that details some of it, but obviously we're running a pretty robust infrastructure in terms of redundancy. What's it called? Their 54. The edge servers, you know what I mean? We have, we're in their edge CDNs, server program, CDNs around the world. So things are, there's local servers in terms of how we cache things so that, it's kind of an always up situation, multiple databases, backup, varnish servers, it's pretty deep in for to do what we do, all the way from basic websites up to, pretty high volume e-commerce. Mm-hmm.
So how many servers, ballpark, do you think you have running in AWS?
10 or 15?
I don't know what the answer to that. Yeah. I guess the straightforward answer to that is that it doesn't really matter.
That's true.
We have as many servers as required. We definitely have redundancy servers on everything from application servers to redundancies with databases. So I don't know the quick answer to exactly how many servers we have, but if the question is like, are we okay if something goes down? The answer is yes. Are we okay if an application server goes down or a database server goes down? The answer is yes. So,
what about the privacy of the data being stored?
Yeah, so that's the thing that's coming up, of course, more with GDPR and everything. And everything is stored in our AWS server in Ireland. And data is stored on WordPress, of course. So there's information, there is like sensitive information like contact form information or email information. But it's, I don't know, what do you have to say about that?
We keep paying attention to security in terms of like us meeting requirements of GDR or whatever the different requirements, but we're pretty serious about it, two-factor authentication on the team and those kinds of things. So, we're pretty hardcore about it. Again, if you go to Pronto Marketing /infrastructure, you can see our uptime reports. You can see our platform.
Learn more the platform, and like when it comes to GDPR, and I've been working with some Pronto customers and also SimpleSat customers on this. It really it's kind of like we can answer very like general questions, but like when it comes to security, it's like I don't know, answering very specific questions. So like I don't know, what happens to my data once I leave in 3 months? I don't know, or something like that. Like, I guess these are conversations that are good to have individually rather than, I don't know, answer everything now.
So you can sort of see, here's just like live things that are happening on our site. We do, if you want some questions, security, we maintain pingdom reports, so you can go in and see our actual uptime and any downtime instances and our reporting on that. So, we're really, if things went down for us, it's like 1,600 customers calling us.
Right.
So pretty hardcore.
So guys, we do have more questions, and you can stick around a little past 2 to keep answering those, right?
Sure. Of course.
Excellent. So what I'd like to do is, I know you have maybe another slide or two. Just for the people that need to get going before 2, I want to help you get through the rest of your slides.
Okay.
All right.
I guess that's it.
That's what we got.
But there's something to cover here. Just that's important to go back to that slide. Corey, thanks.
Yeah.
We do have a special program with Steve, and he's happy to give you some details if you contact him. But if you're a member, you get a special discount. our normal price is $259 a month. You get $199 a month, and our normal setup is $599, and you get that for free. So, Steve, I think we call that in marketing a no-brainer.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah.
And then the marketing essentials, what all is included with that? Because obviously that's costing, more than twice as much than the website.
Corey will kind of go there. It's some of your like the basic SEO that we include with the website is what you would call on-site SEO. So the essentials would start to do some of your SEO off-site, would start to provide some of your content pieces. And these can all be broken out separately, but we bundle some of them up. So you have something that like you can see the ready to go MSP ebooks. It's a program of quarterly ebooks with landing pages and, emails that support them and such. And that can be done separately, or it would be part of something like a basic bundle. So
it's basically like a way to look at the essentials is it's like the website. I guess you could talk about like the website being the essential thing to have, but the website is your
foundation.
They're your foundation, and it's fixing your leaky bucket. And until you have this, you patched up your pail, there's no use in spending money on SEO and email and all these sort of things. So once we have this MSP website, then we have these other programs that we're designing for MSPs, which are geared towards building more traffic to your website. And that's what Derek was explaining here about, just like the ebooks and the retargeting, these sort of things. So that's included in the in Steve's deal, and then and there's more stuff beyond that if anyone's interested.
And just because I saw it mentioned in the chat, it says, what is that, $289 for the MSP Essentials. That's just for the Essentials. That does not include a website. That's correct. So your retail is $289 plus $259, and that equals, I don't know, a much higher number than $459. So,
great deal.
Yeah. And thank you for that. I do appreciate it. And for those of you that are not a member, there is still a deal. You can go onto my website, and if you click the website by Pronto link down in the bottom, there is, I don't remember what the deal is, so I apologize, but you get, I think it might be a month free or something like that. So there is something for everyone. Now, with that said, for the people that want to resell these websites to their clients, it's not really reselling, is it? It's more they're referring the client to you and getting like a referral bonus, correct?
That's right. That's correct. We don't do like a white label. So we have a couple tiers. For the occasional referral, we pay a referral, commission or whatever bonus to you. But for companies that want to resell, like Alex, in other words, it's essentially kind of, I would say, a refer in volume. So once they start getting 3 or 5 clients that they've turned over to us, they get both an amount of money or whatever commission at sign up, a percentage of the sign up fees, and they get a monthly annuity on every website. So the clients who have 10 or so sub clients, it pays for their Pronto website and a little bit more once they get going. And it's really a pretty natural for our MSP clients. A lot of them don't do websites, but they're seen as the technology advisor for their clients and the trusted advisor. So they say, we recommend Pronto. We use Pronto, and it's been real successful for us. It's great. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we have a partner account manager. If somebody's interested, that's happy to give a call and talk about it in detail.
Perfect. So on the Red Key website, did you guys make the video that's on the homepage, or is that a different company? Okay.
No, we did not.
We actually, though, it's interesting you asked that. We have a new service we're going to be launching soon that to do videos. Like we're working with a company that sort of has videographers and editors, out on location all over the United States. So when somebody says, hey, I'd love a video that's custom of our office or interview with us or, whatever the thing is, we have a program we're doing with them that we work with our clients. A crew comes out, shoots a custom video, edits it, puts it on your website. So that is something we're doing, not something we can do directly ourselves to be flying people all around, but this was a great service where they've kind of found these freelancers out that pretty much give full coverage to the US. That's a great program.
Excellent. And are you able to do things for people that require data sovereignty or have any compliance regulations to adhere to?
Well,
So data sovereignty, if I'm in the US and I need my website to be hosted only in the US, are you able to do something for me with that?
I guess it would be case by case situation.
Okay.
If you had to have your website hosted in the US, the answer would probably be no. Okay. But if there were other sort of, security thing, it's really case by case each time. Like for example, we're on WordPress multi-site and all of those websites are on the same IP address, but we do have an option to spin off a new instance for your website, which could potentially have a different IP address, which would be, it's on a different plan. It might be more money, but if you require your own separate IP address, we have a way to accommodate for that. If you require your website to be hosted in the US, the answer might be no. So I think for those things, it's just case by case.
Okay. I think that's reasonable for you to have limitations and, you're not always a fit for everyone, right?
Yep, exactly.
I would say at a functional level, most of the time, if you did a reverse IP lookup, you're going to see as if you're hosted in the United States because the content's being served out of LA or Chicago. Right.
But there might be people that have actual regulatory requirements.
Probably not a fit there.
Okay. So with that said, you're probably not able to meet other regulatory requirements. Like if someone said, I need my website to be HIPAA compliant.
Yeah, that's correct.
Or things like that. Okay.
Well, HIPAA would depend. I mean, a basic website is not, the bar for HIPAA is not very high. But as soon as you start dealing with patient data, it's incredibly high. We do lots of doctor and medical, websites. So the requirement is not to be HIPAA for the website if you don't have patient information. So I'd make that clarification. We do a lot of doctor websites.
Excellent. And I know that you guys will do the monthly newsletters, and you guys can also do like one-off, I'll call it like a sales marketing email. Do you offer like campaign drip marketing?
We are starting to do that more and more. That's kind of been it's in the works, but both if people want to have integration with Infusionsoft, or we'll do it through Campaign Monitor, but we're building drip marketing programs right now. And I think a couple of clients were trialing with that. So.
And do you have any, I know that you guys are big fans of gravity forms. So for people that are using, let's say, Autotask or ConnectWise, I know there's a lot of fans of ConnectWise in here. Do you have any integration with like a ConnectWise forms? So that way, if somebody fills a form out on the website, it'll automatically, do something in their PSA, whether it's just simply create the company and contact, or maybe even something further in the PSA.
Yes. We have that for ConnectWise. We do not have that for Autotask yet. But
what the heck?
Yeah, well, we're working on it.
Okay.
We just wrote. We have an Autotask SOAP wrapper for us to connect to the Autotask API better in the future. But for ConnectWise, we have a Gravity Forms add-on that actually Pronto clients or non-Pronto clients can use. And you can download it for free from the WordPress directory. And for the kind of our main use cases for now is to create new, it's for like a lead capture form for, capture a new lead on your website, and it creates a new contact in ConnectWise. And we're working on a newer version of the plugin now that will actually allow you to do a better version of doing an email lookup from the contact and that creating a support ticket, which will really enable a website a lot more to have your website be a place to capture support tickets and have that accurately and reliably create a support ticket in ConnectWise. So yeah, absolutely. Pronto has that now with Gravity Forms and ConnectWise and Autotask. I hope sometime in the future we can do it as well. And if anyone has more questions about that, I'd be happy to answer that about the ConnectWise Gravity Forms plugin.
And they also now do you also just use the ConnectWise forms themselves, or do you only just integrate with them with Gravity?
So with Gravity Forms, they have an add-on feature where it's like an extension. So someone can submit a form and then other things can happen after that. So it's like this extension. So someone submits the form and then we have it. So that data sends off to ConnectWise. So we're not actually like getting ConnectWise forms or information and putting it in the website. It's more of like someone submits a form and we send that data to ConnectWise. That makes sense.
It does. I also want to add that you guys are able to integrate with other systems that maybe are not MSP based, like Infusionsoft and the like. So, for your clients, if you MSPs have clients that you want to resell Pronto to, just keep in mind that for my website, for example, I had it integrated entirely with Infusionsoft and WooCommerce. The two were like married. Now I'm switching to Drip. So now I'm playing the game of how do I make all this work with Drip now? Now, someone asked a good question, and it's not a question I asked you guys. How does the MSP webinars member deal affect those of us who may already be existing Pronto customers?
Anyway, Steve, we appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah.
Send us an email.
Yeah.
Let Steve and I work that out. But you can send it to Derek, DEREK at ProntoMarketing.com and let us sort that out.
Cool. Very cool.
And thank you for being a Pronto client, whoever asked that.
Yeah.
Well, excellent. Let's see here. The only other thing that I want to cover is start to finish. What's it take to get a website going? I know with mine, I feel like mine was one of those special websites since it wasn't an MSP site. And mine, I was up and running in about 8 weeks.
Website. Yeah. Sorry.
Well, you know what I mean, though. Like, with you guys do so many MSP websites, I feel like you can do one of those in your sleep. But when you have to start writing content for a company that's not an MSP, you might have to think a little harder.
Yeah.
So the fact that mine was up and running in about 8 weeks, I would like to think that you guys can get anything up and running in 8 weeks or less. But it does rely on you, the MSP, to get back to them as quickly as they're getting back to you. And they have a ton of questions. They're going to hit you hard with, what do you think of this? Is this in line with your corporate branding? Is this in line with like your corporate mission statement, that type of stuff? So that way they can write everything, and they're writing everything custom for you. It's awesome.
I would say the average is probably for MSP around 6 weeks, which the range is probably 4 to 8. And to be honest, obviously sometimes something's complex and maybe we got to get our head around it, and that slows things down a bit. But to be honest, most of the time, if it goes any longer, it's a client who's just gotten really busy, and I don't want to pick on them, but we're sort of waiting. And those, waiting days can add up. But if someone can be reasonably responsive and help us move things, like, here's a mock-up to approve it. In a day or so, we get an approval, or we get request for some revisions, and then we come back with revision. But yeah, the range kind of 4 to 8, but and like plan on 6.
And 4 to 6 weeks, that's how long it takes to get a website live. You know, some people say like, can you get me live in a week, or can you get me live in 2 weeks? Like, yes, we can get you live in 1 week, but it's not going to be the website of your dreams. You know, it takes time for us to work with you. It takes time for us to write copy. It takes time for us to learn about you and to give you, a website mock-up to review, and it goes to you and it goes back and forth. Like, we can do a website in a week. We can do a website in 2 weeks, but for the website for you to be proud of to launch is probably going to take 4 to 6 weeks. And then of course it never stops from then. Once we launch, it's like, that's good enough.
Yeah.
Now we're ready to launch. That was better than my last website. And now let's just keep going. So.
Well, this was awesome, guys.
Well,
I really appreciate the opportunity doing this.
Really awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, very good. So for those of you that are still here, I'm not gonna waste your time and recap everything. But if you have questions that maybe we didn't answer well enough, feel free to reach out to me. If you want to talk to me and see how I'm using Pronto, don't be shy. I'm happy to answer questions. Or you can reach out to Pronto directly. Corey or Derek are both more than happy to help any potential customers. I'm sure of it. And if they don't have the answers, they'll put you in touch with someone in their company that does, because, as a business owner for a huge company, you're not going to have all the answers. You delegate. So, and it looks like they're putting Derek at prontomarketing.com up there on the screen.
I'm adding for anyone to see here, like, please get in contact with us. We don't want to hide behind any veil here.
And I also put those into the chat. So Derek or Corey at prontomarketing.com. And that'll get you guys right over to them.
Cool.
All right.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate the opportunity. And thanks everybody who joined. We appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Hey, you take care, guys. And I'll see you next week at the next webinar.